This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to lockdown coverage, week number 15 in the National Football League. Tennessee Titans, San Francisco 49ers. Niners riding a 2-game win streak courtesy of the man known as Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo, making his third straight start as Niners quarterback, 2-0 thus far, looking to make it 3 straight under center for this Niners football team that all of a sudden is playing confident football. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Titans are the opposite of competent and confident right now, losing on the road at Arizona a week ago, 12-7. They've struggled down the stretch, and this was supposed to be a West Coast trip that benefited the Titans in securing not only a playoff berth, but chasing after the AFC South crown. Instead, it was a trip of horrors and a disastrous one that netted them 2 straight losses to bad football teams, and now has put them in a position where they are in danger of not only not winning the AFC South division, as Jacksonville has separated themselves from the Titans at this point, but not even making the postseason after losing and dropping to 8-6 on a season, 25-23 to the San Francisco 49ers. 6, count them, 6 Robbie Gould field goals did end the Titans, the last of which sealed the Titans' fate in this game. Marcus Mariota has been the source of a lot of blame from Titans fans of late, and for good reason. Hasn't played his best football this game. However, not the fault of Marcus Mariota. I thought he played well enough for his team to win, and I thought that the defense was to blame in this game, as Jimmy Garoppolo threw for damn near 400 yards passing. And the saddest part was the 49ers, despite not having any semblance of a run game, credit the Titans defense for that, controlled time of possession and controlled pace of this game. The Titans simply, they were down, 16-3 at half? And it wasn't because the offense was inept. They just didn't have the football in the first half of this game. The 49ers dominated the football, dominated time of possession in the first half, and the Titans simply didn't have an opportunity to do anything offensively in the first half of this game, as the Titans defense couldn't get off the field on third downs. Repeatedly, third down after third down. The 49ers converted in this game, especially in the first half, but even into the second half. They converted on third downs, moved the sticks. They had a hard time corralling Jimmy Garoppolo on the touchdown toss, of the only touchdown of the game for the 49ers, the toss to Brent Selleck, or Garrett Selleck in the back of the end zone. Jimmy Garoppolo escapes pressure, gets outside the pocket and finds Selleck in the end zone for a touchdown. They just couldn't catch up to Jimmy G in this game for the most part. He kept finding guys, whether it was Marquise Goodwin or it was Kyle Juszczyk, or Trent Taylor had a big game in the slot. Did have a drop on a third down that was critical, but nonetheless, he was converting third downs over and over again. They just had a problem. There was another guy that I never heard of, number 84, digging in the Titans' ass as well. Titans just had problems getting off the field defensively, and it really hurt this offense. They just didn't have the football enough in this game, not nearly enough to really impact the game the way they wanted to. And I thought Marcus Mariota, with the opportunities that he was given, I thought he did some good things in this football game. And I won't put this one in the lap of Marcus Mariota at all. I thought he did enough to will his win to a team to a victory, and the defense simply didn't do enough in this game. And it's a shame because this was one you couldn't afford to lose. Last week is understandable. Arizona on the road. They were still playing for their playoff lives. They're a dangerous team at home. You'd like to score more than 7, right? But it happens. This one is inexcusable, indefensible. You got to find a way to beat the San Francisco 49ers, and they didn't. 25-23 on the road. Let's talk about the 49ers, though. They were able to get their 3rd straight win on the season with this win. They're now 4-10, and it's crazy. Now, looking back, if you have Jimmy Garoppolo to start this season off, if he's got a whole offseason with you, he's familiar with the playbook, and you start this season, just think about all of the 3-point or less losses you've had this season. Just think about what your record might have been at this point of the season if Jimmy Garoppolo had been your quarterback from the jump. It's probably a little frustrating, but you're also excited about the future. Now, again, he's not under contract. And the way he's playing, gonna invite other suitors to come in and bid on the services of Jimmy Garoppolo. But if the 49ers are smart, 1, they'll lock him up. 2, if they can't, they'll slap the franchise tag on him and won't allow him to go anywhere and then lock him up with a long-term deal. Either way, I think he's shown enough already that he fits Kyle Shanahan's offense, and he's the guy for San Francisco. He's the man for the job in the Bay Area for this 49ers football team. He's phenomenal. 300 and I think it was 81 yards passing in this game. I think he had a touchdown, no interceptions. He was outstanding. Like I said, his ability to use his legs to extend plays, that's probably been the most impressive thing that I've seen from Jimmy G thus far. And I knew he could do it. I knew he was capable. I saw him do it at San Jose State. I saw him do it. So I know he's capable, but to actually see it at this level, it's one thing to do it in the whack, okay? Running around, running circles around, San Diego State and all those teams. It's another thing to do it against NFL caliber talent and athletes. And he's just been phenomenal. And he's making Marquise Goodwin look like a stud. He's spreading the football around. Kyle Juszczyk is actually looking like a guy that's worth his money. Trent Taylor, who I think is going to be a phenomenal slot player in this league, he won a bunch in this game. Garrett Selleck making plays. So is George Kittle. Everyone's getting the rock. Everyone's making plays. And it's because Jimmy Garoppolo is finding these guys. And he's creating with his legs. He's extending plays. He's making plays when nothing's there. He's the hope that the 49ers have been looking for at the quarterback position for quite some time. And Jimmy Garoppolo, to me, is the man for the job in San Francisco. You found your quarterback. Now it's all about locking him up. And the beauty of what he did in this game, there was no run game for which to speak of. He got no help. In past weeks, there was a little bit of balance on the ground. No balance here. Titans shut the run game down and said, all right, Jimmy G, what you got? Show me what you got, Jimmy G. Show me what you got, homie. Show me what you got. Can you beat me? He said, damn right I can beat you. But I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. And how about Robbie Gould? 6 field goals in this game. I think that's now like 19 straight field goals, the longest streak in the league in terms of made consecutive field goals. Boy, do the Bears feel like total assholes or what? Their field goal kicking situation has been abysmal since cutting Robbie Gould loose. Their loss, your gain. He was outstanding, magnificent, fantastic. Throw any adjective you like in there. He was the reason you run this game second to Jimmy Garoppolo. He was outstanding, has been for you this year, and you get it done, man, and this was impressive. You look at the defensive side of the football, I thought you early, set the tone by getting pressure on Mariota. It was good to see guys running around. Reuben Foster looks good. He did get injured again, and that's going to be his thing. If you can keep him healthy, he'll be a problem. If you can't, he'll be in and out of the lineup. But you were able to neutralize them in the first half, which gave you a shot in the second half. Now, again, Titans were able to make some plays in the second half and ultimately take the lead before the offense was able to once again rev it up, move it down the field, and kick the game winner. All the 49ers now need to do on offense is find a way to convert these possessions into touchdowns. Stop settling for field goals. But nonetheless, the defense is solid. Still got a long way to go on the defensive side of the football. Delaney Walker dropped the touchdown. We're going to talk about the Titans and why they didn't get it done in this game. But Delaney Walker could have eaten you alive in this game if he would have had a better showing. Thought it was his worst game of the season. He was single-handedly responsible for this Titans team not coming away with the victory, if you ask me. But Rashard Matthews also ate you up in this game. Mariota was very efficient when given the opportunity. So defensively, you still got a ways to go. But you've got the makings of a really good team, and the leader of this team looks to be Jimmy Garoppolo, as you've now won 3 straight with Jimmy G at the helm. Who says you can't build momentum for the following season by winning at the end of the previous season? You're building something in San Francisco, and it's because Jimmy Garoppolo is giving you confidence with these wins towards the end of this season. And you got a big one next week against Jacksonville. We're going to find out just how good Jimmy G is, because he's going to play the best defense in football, the team with the most sacks in the league this year. He's going up against that defense next week. And if he doesn't have to win. If he can just hold his end of the bargain, not puke all over himself, not make a bunch of mistakes, and give this team a shot, you got to be impressed with Jimmy G. You're already impressed. He can take it to another level next week by playing well against Jacksonville, though. As for the Titans, really disappointed in them. Got to find a way. Look, this didn't need to be pretty. This didn't need to be pretty. It just needed to be a win. It wasn't pretty against Indy. It wasn't pretty against Houston. And we sat there and we mocked those victories, but they were victories. Who gives a shit how bad they look? Just get it done. I didn't care how bad this one looked. If you would have ultimately won this game 23-22 on a last-second interception that gave you the win, if Robbie Gould would have pushed that kick right and you would have held on for a 23-22 victory, you would have wiped your brow. You would have said, woo, that was close, and you would have took the goddamn win. You might have been bitching and moaning about it, but you would have took the win. But you lost. So now this is a backbreaker. And what these last 2 losses against NFC West opponents have done is it makes the next game against the best that division has to offer that much more important at home versus the Rams next week. You don't have an option next week. That's not an optional game. You must win that game at home against the Rams. Good luck. You're going to need it. Let's talk about the offense quickly. Marcus Mariota, I thought, gave you a chance to win. I thought this was the Delaney Walker game. He was at his worst in this game. Dropped the touchdown pass. You would have won the game. Again, you lost by 2. He catches that touchdown on a drive where I think you ended up settling for a field goal. That's 4 points. You win this game. And I know it's not as easy and as simple as saying, add 4 more points to the scoreboard. But literally, you took 4 points off the scoreboard with that drop. He had another drop on a 3rd down. Now, he was in the sun. It wasn't the best throw in football. And I'm going to put the sun on that one. But I've seen Delaney Walker make some tough catches before. Didn't make that one. And then he had a fumble that cost you. He was bad in this game. To me, it was his worst game of the season. You continue to struggle to run the football. And to me, that's what's lacking right now is the lack of identity. Mariota isn't the put the team on his back, carry the team type of player right now at this point of his career. They need balance, and they don't have it right now. They're not running the football effectively enough, and it's costing you. Mistakes are costing you. It cost you last week against Arizona with Mariota throwing 2 picks. It cost you again this week with a drop touchdown and a fumble by Delaney Walker. The mistakes on the road. You're not good enough right now. You're not playing good enough football to make those types of mistakes and come away with a victory. And so this Titans team right now, they're just struggling, man. It's not pretty. And they picked the worst time of the season to be playing the worst brand of football because the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens are licking their chops and it's saying, look, man, we're desperate. We just want in. And if you don't want to go, we will gladly take your spot. Trust and believe that both of those teams are dying to get in. And if you don't want to go, there's someone that is waiting, dying, chomping at the bit at the opportunity to take your ticket that seemed to be punched just 2 weeks ago to the dance. You don't want to go? That's fine. Give your ticket up to somebody that wants to go and that'll do something with it when they get there. Don't waste a ticket. There are only 6 in the AFC. If you don't want to go, if you're not going to dance when you get there, then don't go. Don't waste the ticket. Give it to somebody else that'll use it. So, I'm not giving up on the Titans yet. That defense, they weren't good enough. The pass defense was atrocious in this game. Absolutely garbage. Jimmy Garoppolo carved that pass defense up. The run defense was phenomenal, but there was a disconnect on third downs. Gotta get off the field on third downs. That's the money down in this league, and you stunk it up on third downs in this game, which allowed the 49ers to control time of possession, which limited the amount of opportunities you had with the football, which really gave them an opportunity to win this football game. You got to be better on defense. You could use a contribution or two from special teams. Bottom line is you got to be better. You got to be better. I'm not giving up on the Titans, though. I'm not giving up on them. As a matter of fact, I'm going out on a limb right now, and I'm saying they're going to beat the Rams next week at home to save their season. To save their season. We're going to see. They're not winning the division. I think they're going to win the next two. They're going to save their season with a win versus the Rams next week, and then they're going to turn around, and they're going to beat Jacksonville in a meaningless game in week number, well, for Jacksonville, it might not be meaningless. So they're going to give you the best they've got, and I think you can beat Jacksonville again. But you're going to have to play much better than you've played the last 2 weeks. Hell, much better than you've played the last month if you expect to beat either the Rams or the Jaguars at home to finish up. You lose either one of those games, and you might not make the playoffs. I think you can still beat out the Bills at 9-7, though. I got to see what the tiebreaker situation looks like. You own the tiebreaker over the Ravens, but they're going 10-6. So the only way you're going to be able to beat them out is to finish 10-6 because they're winning their last two. So you put yourself in a tough situation by losing these last two games to teams you had no business losing to. So it's time for you to get on your horse and figure it out fast, because if you don't and you lose to the Rams, you're done. Let's go to any comments that may be out there. Vincent Cole says, I think a stud rookie safety like Minkah Fitzpatrick can make this Niners defense really good. We'll see. They've drafted defensive backs, it seems like, early in the draft for the last 5 years or so, 4 out of 5 years. I don't know if they can afford to spend another early draft pick on another DB. Cloud says Jimmy G might be the first backup quarterback from New England that doesn't flame out on another team. He might actually be the first. And remember, Matt Castle had that 1 year in Kansas City, but he might be the first New England backup that doesn't suck. Because all the rest of them have been garbage to me. You know, marginal starting quarterbacks, career backups at best. Jacoby Brissett might actually have a career in front of him, but Jimmy G looks legit. He looks legit. Vincent Cole says, now I hella want to see Jimmy G against the Jags defense. I think he should do decent against that defense too. We'll see. I can't wait to see it either. I told you the 49ers were going to make them must-see TV because of Jimmy G. I told you that. And he's done that. Cloud says, what do you think made Tennessee not take that next step and establish themselves as one of the best teams in the AFC? Inconsistent play at the quarterback position with Mariota, and they had an identity crisis. They haven't been able to run the football defensively. They haven't been as good as we all thought they could be. So there have been some discrepancies on defense and offense. And they just need to get back to playing Tennessee Titans football, running the football, setting up play action, and having Mariota work off of that. John Niner says, Jimmy G with no weapons is moving the ball up and down the field. Not many quarterbacks can do that. I agree. You know, he doesn't have the best weapons at his disposal yet. He's making the guys that he does have look like competent NFL football players. Dare I say Tom Brady-esque? Huh. Yeah, I just said it. John Niner says Marquise Goodwin has found a home with the Niners. 2 straight weeks of balling out. He's just got to stay healthy. That's been his problem. He was good in Buffalo when healthy. He just wasn't healthy very often. He's been good in San Francisco when he's been healthy. Just hasn't been healthy enough. If he stays healthy, Marquise Goodwin can be a problem. We'll see what happens, though, with him moving forward. But Jimmy G is the story in San Francisco right now as they pull the upset over the Titans, 25-23, third straight win for the Niners after starting the season off 1-10. They're now 4-10 after 3 straight wins with Jimmy G at the helm. Meanwhile, the Titans, 2 straight losses after 2 straight ugly wins. They have not played good football over the last month, and they're seeing their season slip through their fingers right before their very eyes. They've got a chance to rectify things before it's too late with a win next week at home versus the Rams. But they got to have it next week at home versus the Rams. against a team that's playing outstanding football in the Rams. We'll see if they can get that accomplished or not. It's going to do it for your man, Louie T, here on Lockdown Coverage. I've got one more Lockdown Coverage video to come. The massacre out in Seattle. Rams, Seahawks, coming at you next. Don't go anywhere. If you haven't already subscribed to the Louie T Network, go ahead and make that happen. We'll come back. We'll break down Seattle and the Rams, and then I'll do the Redskins Rapid React at halftime of the Falcons and Bucks game. I'll see you for the final lockdown coverage of Week 15. The massacre out in Seattle. I'll see you for that one. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.